Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. In today's episode, I'm talking to Simone Daley Richards, who's a session singer and an actor, and you've probably seen her on the telly. She's often at Glastonbury, Wembley, O2, all the TV shows, and she has sung with some of the greatest artists in the world. I wanted to talk to Simone today about creativity. Also things such as negotiation, expectations, finding your own way in this industry. And this is not just pertinent to the music or the artistic industries, but really navigating who you want to be in the world in terms of your own business and your brand. As I often say, we haven't really got a rule book to follow. We're kind of figuring things out. We're talking to people. We're wondering how to pitch, to negotiate, to ask for more money, to ask for more of what we want. And Simone has some really great insight with this. So I hope you enjoy the episode. If you do, come over to Instagram and join in the chat. DM me, email me, let me know what you think and what your biggest takeaways were. And if you're joining in on the daily challenge as well, thank you so much and thanks for sharing, and I'm so glad so many of you are enjoying it. Anyway, here's the episode today. Simone Daley Richards, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining me.
No, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What's going on?
Well, I'm drinking, like, I think I'm being posh, you know. I've got my steeper with some green tea. Stop it. Steeper with my green tea, and I just roasted some mackerel.
Wow.
However, I was going to eat spring rolls with the mackerel, and my cousin is married to a Thai lady, and so she's like my cousin, and she makes really, really good fresh by hand spring rolls. And so whenever you go there, you kind of overdo the taking home the spring rolls. Next thing you have like spring rolls.
Yes.
A week every day, and so I put them on the oven, but they were ready first. So I ate the spring rolls first, and I was too full to eat the mackerel. So now the mackerel's sitting in the kitchen. Okay,
it's all good though. It feels like there's a running buffet for the rest of the day, and
like a little picking tray thing.
And making friends with people who have. People who cook nice food is always a brilliant thing. What do you do? What's your job title?
I am an actress and session singer full time. I do other things, but those are my main staples.
Wonderful. And how did it? Like, I know your story, but like, how did it start? Were you a kid who was like showing off in the living room, like?
Yeah, basically that. I just didn't stop moving. Actually, my mum, she was always dancing and singing and acting. You know, she did her own like one-woman show at the Westchester Playhouse. She was that kind of always in a steel pan band or limbo dancing or contemporary dancing. So she was always doing this. She basically lives my life. I live her life, should I say, now. So I'm the exact version of my mum.
Wow.
So I didn't have any choice in terms of like creative arts, but so yeah, I went to school. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know exactly what kind of area, but I knew that I was going to be performing.
Yes, and I feel like you had this as well, like this moment of like, I'm kind of almost like I've signed a form and just let the school know, like, I'm here for the important bits, but then I'll be leaving. So it's just like a part-time arrangement, but like, but it's been nice to meet.
And they absolutely knew, I think from primary school, they absolutely knew that I had no real interest in anything else. So much so that by time I got to middle school, they would ask me to teach PE. So I would do contemporary dance classes in the PE for my school year.
Wow.
Because they knew I was always dancing, so I'd come in and do like a dance class in in the week, like on a Tuesday, be like, put your leggings on and your leg warmers because we're going to do contemporary dance class. And I would teach like Martha Graham.
Oh my God, with the scarf getting caught in the thing. Oh no, that's Isadora. Yeah, it is all that thing of going, right guys, it's the 80s, leg warmer up.
Come on, get it together.
Get ready.
It was that, it was the 80s, and I just thought, I just knew, I don't know what the teachers thought of it, but I just was like, oh yeah, I just do this maths thing, but
yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. So one thing that I wanted to talk about with you is that you always... it sounds so cheesy, like you've got a real like lust for life, and like I always feel like when I see you in work situations or social situations, like people are always really happy that you're in the room. Like you all, even I said to Matty,
how much should I pay for that?
Well, I'll send my invoice later. But no, even I said to Matty today, I said, I'm speaking to Simone later, and he was like, oh, great. Like, I mean, we don't get out much, so like, it's nice. But and I know so many people have that thing about you. Like, where does that come from? Is it because you've got oodles in your family and you knew that you sort of were in that situation? Or do you just love life?
I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with, I don't know. I just genuinely... I find myself funny. I don't take myself that seriously. So I feel like that makes people really comfortable.
Yes.
Because I'm not that... I don't really embarrass easy. And I genuinely love people, accents, how people look. I just like to speak and be open, and I'm genuinely interested in it. I'm nosy. I'm that kind of nosy, bubbly, typical northern kind of friendly, good morning, good afternoon type of person. So I feel like it just makes people feel comfortable.
Yes.
I'm not sure that I have anything special going on, like I've done any special magic, but I feel like I'm conscious of it, actually. I'm consciously always trying to make people feel comfortable or laugh. Not at any, detriment to my own kind of personality, but this is just genuinely how I am.
But I think it helps you get into different places, because your career has always been that, from like meeting people and then suddenly you're like, oh, I'm getting on a flight tomorrow because that person saw me here, or I'm doing that. You have that quite nomadic life where the next opportunity just seems to come, and I'm sure that's because you're in that zone of just being a great person to be around. And I think sometimes people forget that that's a really key piece.
Yeah, I think that is when people say, oh, the secret to your success, I always think, it's not really, the whole point is not to have a secret. It's just to be open and honest. There is no secret to success. There is no secrets. There are no secrets. Put the secrets in the bin and just be open and honest about what you want to do and speak to people. Whether if you have a job, I always say to if I'm mentoring, which I'm really like to do more of, but if I'm speaking to somebody who's new in the singing session arena, I'm saying, just remember that all the crew make the job. It's not the artist per se, it's the technicians, it's the caterers, it's the people who come and do, the sound or the lighting. Everybody is integral to this moment. So don't section or marginalize yourself because you're a singer or you're a drummer. Or everybody is here together, and I feel like that just builds a better family feeling. And then, yeah, you never know what happens from there, I think.
And you have to take up your space, don't you, in the room, because sometimes people sort of shuffle in and go, "Hi, sorry, I'm just like doing this like small thing," and they really underplay it. And actually, that's the worst thing you can do, because as soon as you put that yourself in that zone, people just think you are just like a little bit of the furniture. Not that I'm saying that you have to kind of go in singing the loudest. I'm here now, everybody. I'm here. So how did you know how to do this? How did you get started? Because like you've done amazing things. You sung at the Brits, at Glastonbury, at like you've done some, well, you tell me what you've done, or you tell the listeners what you've done.
I mean, I think I've done all of the stages in terms of music stages. Not necessarily in the world, but definitely in the UK that I'd wanted to do. You know, the big arenas, Wembley Arena, and the TV, like the regular, like the morning television, Graham Norton's, the Jonathan Ross. So I've done lots of the things that I always wanted to do, that I like British staples.
Yes.
Like the Glastonbury, the Brits. What was the question?
How did you get started doing that? Because again, maybe it's this northern thing where it's like sometimes we believe these things aren't available for us because they happen to somebody else. Like, I don't know if you grew up in Leeds, so it's slightly like a bigger town, but a bigger city rather. But certainly where we were, we just thought that life was like going on alongside us, but we weren't like part of it. It's that thing of like, oh no, you only get to do that if you're like one of the lucky ones who might live in London.
No, you're right. I think it was a massive, I would have actually not been in London, I would have stayed in Leeds at the Northern School of Contemporary Dancing, had the teachers at the school. So at the time, I was very bent on being, in the contemporary dance company, touring with, something, Phoenix or someone like that. That was what I wanted to do, because I've been there since I was young, did all the Saturday classes, then I went to do the foundation course. I was like, right, I'm going to do a degree in contemporary dance. And they were like, yeah, that's nice, we've known you all these years, we love you, we would happily have you. However, we feel that you do more than just dance. I'm like, yeah, I know I do, but I want to dance.
I want to dance. Let me dance.
Let me be me. But if it wasn't for the teachers there, they actually contacted the schools in London and said, hi, we have this girl, she dances, but we think she also does other things. Could you see her? And within a week after me auditioning for the degree course at Northern, they then sent me to the Erdan, the Studio Centre, I think in the van. I went there for a week and did all these auditions and castings, and then Miss Erdan, God rest her soul, who's now passed away, she offered me a scholarship, half a scholarship, to go to the Erdan Academy. And so I was like, oh, you dance and you sing and you act here. And so I'm like, okay, this could be an opportunity. And then I had to come back to Leeds and then do special persons grant, kind of creative arts grant award audition thing. I was only 15, I think, at the time.
Whoa.
So I had to come and do this special audition, sing a song, do a tap dance. And they gave me another grant for scholarship. So I had all my fees paid half by Miss Erden and half by my Leeds City Council, and that kind of opened up the door to more than just dance or contemporary dance. And there wouldn't have been probably any way out of that had I just remained in Leeds. I feel I had a unique opportunity to leave. I mean, Yorkshire is wonderful, but there isn't much for any creative arts here. Like yourself, I guess it's the same to where you were from. It's kind of like
totally.
You're destined to go to the feast.
Like, I think if we wanted to do work experience, you had to sell ice creams at the cinema. It's kind of, we don't really have much for actors. Maybe you'd like to do that, or
work at the nursery, or help with the kids, or
totally.
There was nothing substantial. I had no intention of going to London, but when I did, I think it was the best thing. I was forced. I felt like I was forced. That was pushing me into London, go and do something else. And when I did the degree course, it was a diploma at the Erdan, I attended different churches, and I was supposed to different music, and people just remembered me from singing in different choirs. So it started by singing in the choir kind of thing, and people, session musicians would be in choir bands, and they would recommend me to go and do possibly a pop session, because then you had to deal with harmonies. And then I kind of let go of dance. I didn't throw it away. It just happened that I was moved into another sphere of the arts, which didn't feel unsad by that. I was excited by kind of a new whole way of like moving, and so now I sing more than I dance. I don't dance at all. I don't know, I'm even saying that.
I only dance like 30 hours a week now, just in my spare time. But I think that's so important, that moment of just like starting to get involved and meet people and say stuff out loud, and like get, as my dad would always say, like get stuck in, and you just never know who you're going to meet, and just making yourself known without doing it in a complete twerpish way of like
networking kind of.
Yeah.
It's not really about networking, it's just about making friends who like the things that you do.
Exactly. And just even sitting down and having lunch with somebody, like going, oh, what's in your little Tupperware? Oh yeah, I've got this, or, you know, that kind of thing. So how did it start to become like a thing where you go, I actually think I could make this into a career, and that I'm going to bet on myself enough that I'm going to pursue this?
You know, the whole journey that I've been doing this, you never really feel that. I think because it's this whole idea of being self-employed. Yeah. And because it's the session singing is based on an artist doing something, an album or a tour, you don't know who's doing what next and when they decide they're going to do what they're doing. So I never really felt that way until maybe 5 years ago. I was like, oh, I'm always going to be in work. So because then you have like your staple, you know, your agents who you work with, or your staple artists that know who you are now, and they call you back every year, so you sort of know. But up until then, you wing it. Yeah. And you find things to do in between the thing, because you never know whether or not you're going to be called to do anything. So I think it's about having lots of different things in your pocket that you can do. Even if it's down to doing something absolutely not creative, in terms of maybe do admin or I don't know, so that you can keep yourself. It's all about eating for me. It's all about how can I buy food, you know?
Yeah. And how can you, like, whenever I see, even if you're doing like something like really crazily, brilliantly exciting, or whether it's in the in-between bits, like I always feel like I get a good chunk of you in the way that you're showing up in life, whatever, like you're showing up, you're never like, oh my God, I just got to wait for the phone to ring and then I'll feel better about myself or validated. Like, you know how to keep yourself topped up in between. Because I think sometimes with whatever people are doing, like, I'll feel better about my blog once I get 1,000 readers a month, or until I get the whatever. Whereas actually it's got to feel good in between. So how do you do that? Eating. Eating good food.
Really tasty food. Preferably spicy, you know. No, but it's a real thing. I think in the beginning it was a real thing, and I was considering it the tour come down, because you be on tour, you don't have to make your own food, you don't have to do your own travel, you don't have to even get yourself ready, because the wardrobe designer's washing or drying your clothes and ironing clothes for the show. You don't have to do anything. You get a taxi home, you get an Uber, and then you get finished the tour, and then you're like, you've got your suitcases, and you have to get on the tube.
Yeah.
It's like, then you're going to go home and think, oh, now what do I eat?
Yes. So where's the responsible adult who comes and saves me?
I have depression from that kind of thing, because it's like, now nobody loves me, I'm not famous, nobody can. But I think it's a work you have to do within yourself, outside of what you do for a career. You have to be able to find a place in yourself so that it's consistently always happiness.
Yes.
It has to be not responsive. You can't be happy because of. You just got to be happy. Otherwise, how I do it, I don't know. Maybe it is that thing of, burning candles and having good food and meeting up with friends. It is that keeping yourself busy or not, or just sleeping, which I do also a lot of.
Yes.
Sleeping.
So I guess it's like finding what your thing is that is going to do that and actually taking that seriously.
Yeah. It's making it a thing for you. I need to take time out, or I need to have, exercise, I need to do some yoga, I need to do, but do that whether you're working or not working. That's
yes.
the thing.
And that mindset is a shift of sometimes when people, because sometimes I have it, like occasionally when I've had those things where it's last year I had like Stylist Live and I had an acting job, and they both came out in the same week, which was a weird coincidence because we all know like these things are cooking behind the scenes for a long time. And I had a few messages of like, oh, it's all right for you, or oh, lucky you. And like, I get that. And, sometimes it is annoying if things are not happening for you in that moment. And then somebody just, you scroll up and there's, my silly face or somebody's silly face on your Instagram feed. And you're like, oh, that's annoying because now I'm going to have to deal with that. But I think it's that sense sometimes of just really realizing what's good right now and what you've done previously, because we can all get in that headspace sometimes of like, it's never going to happen. It's all ahead of me. It's all to be grappled for. And actually lots of it has already come. A lot of the groundwork is already done.
Exactly. And I also, there's room enough for everyone.
Yes.
Even if I know 100 people that do what I do, that's perfectly fine. I have to be able to be genuinely happy for you. Oh, nice. Wow.
It's just a call from my agent. Yeah, whatever.
Hello. Yeah, I have to be genuinely happy, be able to be happy for somebody else doing something that I might be. I've never done Coachella, for example. And I've got a bunch of people who are, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're on Coachella, great.
Yes.
But I'm genuinely happy because I'm like, well, it's okay, because everybody has to have their time. And when it's my time, then I'll be there too.
And it's showing it's available to you, isn't it? Like, oh, she does the same thing as me. Great. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's like loads of people have got book deals late at the moment. And I'm like, don't worry, mine's coming. It's all right. Yeah. And people are just like showing me how to negotiate or like how to market stuff. Thank you very much. Like, it's great.
You can watch and learn, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm happy and I'm okay with that. It's free training. Watching other people in your industry or your peers do a really good job, because then you'll know, I now know how to do that. It's fine.
Exactly.
And I feel like you have to just know that, at some point you realise, once you have made, I say maybe a way or a place in your industry, that, and if you're good at what it is that you do and that people like you and you're a nice person, that then there'll always be work for you, and if work that you love, should I say, not just work, because work, nobody wants to just be working, but work that you love is always going to be available for you. It's just a matter of being able to be happy with the bits in between. Definitely.
How do you negotiate things? How do you make them work for you? Because again, sometimes as artists or creatives, it can be this like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've got a job. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so lucky to be in the room. And sometimes when things are a bit flowery or last minute or like, darling, can you just get here and like, we'll sort it out later. Like, that's the worst thing, because actually it's like, you need to tell me where I'm getting, and like, are you going to pay for this? Like, what is the thing?
Yeah.
How have you figured that out, and what would you say to people who are sort of starting out and going, I don't know what to ask for, I don't know what's important, all that?
I mean, the music industry works I've realised works very differently to acting. Because there isn't really, there's a culture of not much information, and it's not really governed by any particular body. You mean you have a music union, but doesn't govern. So, like, for example,
but nobody joined it because everyone was having a nice time.
Everybody's playing their quality time at home and just having a great time having an open mic. However, acting, you know, you get the contract.
Yeah.
This is the thing, that's the time, that's how much you get, that's how much you get if you work over those hours. This is it. You agree, you sign. Music is like just an email. You get an email, are you available for these dates? Please, we've got 3 gigs. Lots of times they don't tell you how much they're going to pay you. So if you're really, really excited and you're really, really new and you're really, really green and fresh, you're just like, great, the job is 3 days. But you don't know until you get there £25 per day and you're not going to get anything to eat and there's not going to be any car for you to take you there or bring you home. So I feel like with experience, and this is exactly what the thing that I think I wish somebody told me, which is what I'm now really more focused on with the mentoring. Because I don't think in music there isn't anybody telling you what to ask for, because record labels and management and all of these other kind of areas, they just want to save as much money as they can.
Yeah, and there's very much a like, it's all right, it's all right, don't worry.
Great exposure if you're on the television. You could definitely be on a TV show where an artist is making a random ballpark figure, let's say £30,000 for a festival, well, I don't know how much they make, and then you could definitely be there doing the same amount of work for £75. It's very possible that if you don't know, there's a budget. Yes.
Because nobody ever talks about the budget. Nobody even talks that there's a pie that is divvied up, and the way it's divvied up is not equal or fair necessarily, or well thought out.
And because usually they're considering you to be just a sprinkling. You're just like the flavour for the performance. You're just as good as the lighting. You're not main focus. So we would like to have you here just for the thing to feel real, but we don't really need you. But if you want to come with us to France for a job, and then we can pay you. So I feel it's really important to firstly decide what you would like out of that job. And if it is exposure, then fantastic, take it for the exposure, you know. But we'll first work out what you're going to be exposed to.
Yes.
Who are we exposing me? How am I exposed? Should I want to be exposed?
Yeah. No, you're right.
So, I mean, you can do the exposure thing and don't take any money. That's perfectly fine. But you have to know what it is you're going to be exposed to. And then there isn't really a scale really for session singers who do this sort of thing. There isn't a scale. But I would say, is the question
how do you ask for what you want, basically, or how do you get things feeling like you feel comfortable?
If you don't know what to ask for, ask somebody who has been doing it that you trust.
Yeah. Because
I think sometimes you just don't know what's available for you. You don't know how much to ask for because you've never done it before. You don't know what's available because you've never, again, there's experience. So ask somebody that has done the work prior. Don't feel embarrassed to say to somebody that's more experienced in the scene, hi, I've got this job offer. What do you think I should do about it? Is that the right amount of money? They pay me too little? What should I ask for? And then hopefully you've got somebody who's not also jealous, but somebody who's supportive, and then they can give you the right information. So I just think first find somebody who you trust, who's been in the industry, even whether it's a manager, a tour manager, whether it's somebody, an ex-colleague, just find someone that you trust to speak to before you make commitments. Yeah. Because once you've arrived at the venue and you've done the job, nothing you can do about it. There are no contracts per se in session music. Nobody signs anything. You have to agree to everything before you arrive, which hardly ever happens. It's happening so fast. We're so busy. We're in New York. We're in LA. Time difference. See you tomorrow. I'll call you when I get there.
I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Bye. You're amazing. Bye. And then you don't have the chance to have a discussion. So you have to be really firm with yourself. Is it worth it? Is this more worth getting into today about this job that's happening tomorrow? Because it's happening tomorrow. It's all happening last minute. Or do I trust that I'm going to get what I need, or just take what I get when I get there tomorrow? You have to weigh up for yourself. I think it's an individual walk. But now, I tend to, once the question's asked, I will immediately tell you what I expect.
Yes. Boom.
That way, everybody understands. And if you can't do what I expect, you're going to then tell me, actually, I can't do this and I can't do that, but can we do this? And then it's okay. We can then negotiate from there. And then I can decide yes or no. But I have to tell you what I expect, because you know what you want. And I have to know what I want also.
Because also, if you don't know somebody very well, assumption is sometimes the worst thing that you can do, because we're not all playing by the same rules. And we found that so often, like, it's weird to me now, and maybe slightly naive, that this thing about the pay gap of like women not getting paid as much as men, like the amount of times where I'm like, I'm stupidly shocked about these things. Like, was I not paid as much as this guy, or things, because nobody ever spoke about it. Nobody.
It's a strange thing, but nobody knows speaks.
Yeah.
Everybody's so hush hush. And it's the same within the industry. Nobody wants. It's all a secret.
Yeah.
Because if I tell you what's going on, you're going to want what I'm doing, and you're going to know who I know, and you're going to call them, and you're going to get the job. It's all these secrets and espionage.
Yes.
I'm not very good at all this sort of thing, because I just feel like I said beforehand, in order for it to get better, we have to be open about everything. And we have to be open about how much you're getting paid, and how much, because there can be whole bands happening, and drummers get paid more than singers, or singers being paid more. They're all doing the same job, but if you don't speak about it, it's all secrets and lies and espionage and Sunset Beach, and you just don't. You're never going to know. I think the key for us now, it was in my genre. I guess there isn't many people do either. The community is only really small in terms of British pop artist background local session music. There's only a real small pool. You'd be surprised. There's probably only, I can't be more than 40 of us, 50 of us maybe doing professionally full time for the UK artists in the UK. So there isn't that many who are on that kind of, they do more than 2 or 3 tours a year.
Yeah.
There's not a big pool, but there's still lots of secrets.
Yeah.
Within the pool.
And it's sometimes better to find those secrets at home when you're in your bed, rather than being on the other side of the world and going, oh no, didn't realise this.
Yeah.
Which I guess brings me on. So you've done loads of touring and travel and buses and like all the things. How do you keep like showing up, and how do you be like ready for performance, or that sense of like knowing you have to deliver? Because I think sometimes, especially, it's tricky. Like, I went to a networking event last week, and we'd had a really rough night, and like I was feeling a bit under the weather, so was my kid, but yet there was this thing in me, because it was a business thing, like I had to go, no, but I have this sense of like being able to turn it on. Like, I didn't want to turn up and go, hi guys, I've had this, because I never want to be that person in the room, because it's not that I'm not sympathetic, but I think there's a time and a place. Like, you speak to your friend or your mum or your dad or whoever and do that kind of complaining. So how do you keep your game face, and how do you be ready for whatever you need to be ready for?
Well, I think it's much like yourself, Nicky. We're from a background that we're showbiz kids.
Showtime!
So it's not even like we know what we're doing. It's ingrained within the fibre of our body.
Right.
That you open the door and you get to the place where the people are at. It's time for you to get the game face on. Whether you feel like it or not. It's like act down, you put red lipstick on for ballet because you had to look a certain way. Nobody cares about your lips, but you had to it was the time. It's time, showtime, you're on the stage, you just go. And I think it's brainwashing.
Yeah, because if you look at my red lips, you won't see my bleeding feet, and that would be great.
That's right, and my heels are hurting, and I'm in these stupid shoes, and the stupid shoes are burning a hole into my heel. Yeah. My toes are crunched up like dinosaurs at the front. I feel awful. However, I'm singing with Mighty Pillow, I'm going to sing Wishing I Was Lucky or Good Night Girl, and the audience are waiting for me to sway. You have a responsibility to the people that you're with to bring the best of you. You don't always feel like it, but I just think it's ingrained, showbiz kid, theatrical, discipline type thing. Like,
and that it actually does matter. Like, I think sometimes there can be this temptation to go, oh, it'll be fine, or people will understand, or sometimes I go on jobs and, like, people are just a bit weird on set and just spend a really long and boring amount of time talking about how tired they are, or, you know, sort of how sore their throat is. And you can see the director like, wow, you're still talking about this. This is really boring. I'm trying to move on with my job.
And then if you're really sick, I mean, I've been sick, oh gosh, I remember a time that I'd had, I don't know what I'd eaten, and my stomach was really rough, and I was vomiting, and we were in some place in America, I don't even remember where we were, so that's how much I don't even remember that I was in America. I remember laying on the sofa, and I remember Joss Stone, bless her, she was so concerned about how sick I was. She came in the room, and she was like, do you want some, I made you some ginger tea or something, and I was like, yes, please. But I knew that either you're too sick to do the show, and you say, I'm too sick, can I just, what can we do about it? I'm too sick.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think you have to have, there's comes a point as well when you're just ill, you cannot do it, you're going to faint. There's no point going on stage if you're going to faint, because that's stupid.
Yeah, and you're going to be like stealing somebody's thunder. Nobody wants somebody else on stage, like when they're doing their big thing, going, oh, I'm just doing this thing.
Yeah. Running off the stage, be vomiting.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision. Either you can do the thing and you're going to shut up and pull up your socks and get on with it.
Yes.
Or you're too ill to do it. I just think you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Exactly.
And so that's, for me, if I'm too poorly to do something, which is very rarely, you know, but if you are, get somebody else to come and cover the job, or, you know, do a little bit of work and show that you genuinely would like to be there, but you can't. But
exactly.
You're going to be there, just sharp.
Yeah, sharp, just sharp. What things do you do every day that make you feel good, that ground you wherever you are in the world, that you always come back to, that have been almost like your I'm trying to do a gesture but I can't figure out what it is, but like your foundations, or just like your reliable things, I guess?
Well, I know my first thing that I need to keep me alive is sleep. I don't mean just sleep as in the regular amount of sleep that everybody else has. I mean, I absolutely require 8 hours sleep. If I don't get 8 hours sleep, I absolutely need to take a nap. My voice, my mind, my spirit, my well-being is all anchored on whether I've had enough sleep. Because, you know, you need to rest. I'm quite high energy, so I bumble around a lot, and I think that I get burnt out.
Yeah.
Because of that, I need to take, and I feel like sleep is meditative as well. You go to sleep, you wake up, you have a different mindset or a different, you know, outlook. So definitely for me, the right amount of sleep, and also naps, like a 3-year-old child. I have naps if I can.
Naps and a juice and a snack.
And a snack. But yeah, basically this is it. Naps, water, I drink a bunch of tea, and like a grandma, I have tea bags in my handbag, my purse. Because obviously I don't spend much time at home, because my life's pretty transient, so it's hard to say what my routines are, because I don't really have a routine lifestyle. But there are things that I have to take with me, like when I travel on a tour bus or whatever, a train, I tend to have a bag with me, and in that bag has all the things that I need to. Because
I'm just imagining all the germs, and I have a snotty child a lot, but I would know that I need to protect myself in that kind of way, because one thing that we should say is, when you realise in a creative outlook, not everybody's hygiene standards are the same as your own.
No, thank you. That's lesson number 1. You have germaphobe, you cannot get on a tour bus.
No.
16 of you.
Wow.
In a bus, sleeping in coffin-size bed things.
Yes.
You're not even sure where this bedding has come from. If the bus driver has cleaned them freshly today, you just have to hope and pray. So usually I bring my own pillowcase.
Yes.
And then you can't sorry everybody who listens to the podcast, your beautiful fans, you can't do a number 2 on a tour bus.
No.
Because there's not the right amount of chemicals to break down such things, and then I think it expels into the road or some sort of sorry. So you can only pee on the tour bus. This is explicit. However, you've got to imagine, usually the women are outnumbered by the men. I'm not suggesting at all that men are not as cleanly as women. I am definitely suggesting that, but I'm not suggesting that. And I walk around with antibacterial wipes for all the venue surfaces. all the my neck is extreme.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Every dressing room, for the tour bus bathrooms, people will put their fingers in your food. You have, if you're a germaphobe, you cannot possibly get on a tour bus with 60 people because you might not make it through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have to think of things like that, like you have to bring your own types of milk if you don't drink dairy, if you don't have this, if you have allergies, if you need to have medicine in case you get poorly, you eat everyday things, tea bags, face wipes, disinfectant, sanitizer, and all your makeup stuff, and then all your clothes, and then things just in case. I did think the last 15 years I've spent with everything in a handbag because I don't have a routine. I need something that anchors me and brings me, it's something that brings me back to myself, which is the thing in my handbag.
Yes.
That's just how I've been living. And so I think tea and sleep and being clean are really important on my list.
Essential. And when people are like, oh, you sometimes get those like surveys in the metro of like 49% of people only wash twice a week. I'm like, who are these people?
What are they doing?
And then I'm like, oh, they're here because I can smell their armpits. They're right here.
Yeah.
I've got one final question for you, which is, where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
Oh, gosh. I mean, if you're talking about location, I was talking to you earlier on about how I feel about the winter.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in an episode of, what's that program called? The one with all the people in the winter and the Vikings and all of this stuff.
Yeah,
with the winters come in.
Yeah.
I don't really get the shakes when it comes to October. So I feel like in 5 years, now in my position, I believe that I can work living any place in the world.
Beautiful.
So ultimately, I would like to be somewhere where 75% of the year the sun is shining. It hasn't got to be hot. I just need to see sunlight. And I feel it's really important for me. I genuinely believe this is one of my most important things for me to achieve is to get out of the grey. I love England, but it's the grey I can't deal with. And then I feel that I'll probably be branching more into mentoring, coaching other session singers. Because obviously all that we said today, lots of people don't know this information and they get kind of hoodwinkled and bamboozled into doing this sort of job. So this is what I'd like to be doing. And I love what I do. So I just hope that I'm still doing what I'm doing now. The stage hasn't got to be any bigger. It hasn't got to be anything else more than what I am now. But however, maybe in a different location. And with maybe a few little surprise projects that I'm not
secret projects. Who would you like to sing with? Like, who's on your wish list?
Okay, good.
I'll connect you.
I really, really want to work with Solange.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how it's going to happen yet, Nikki, but I believe there must be a very slim degree of separation between me and Solange Knowles.
Yes.
I feel like...
Is it Beyonce? Like, we both know Beyonce.
Yeah, because Beyonce and me were such good friends. So
but you are good mates with Khalees. This is the thing. Like, stranger things have happened.
I know. This is what I believe. I feel like, Solange is going to come to the UK. She's going to want some UK backing vocalists. And then someone's going to say, yeah, Simone.
Yes.
And I think and the reason why I choose Solange is because she is genuinely herself.
Yeah.
She's unashamedly not Beyonce.
Yes.
I am Solange. I have this look. I look like this. I'm black. I'm super creative. I do what I want. I wear what I want. My band looks individual. We don't look like carbon copies of anybody else.
Yes.
It's creative. We've got like a choreography. I can do a bit of choreography, Nikki. And
You could get that leotard on. You could bring back the contemporary.
Do my Rihanna impression. Do the whole thing.
Yes.
Now, I think Solange would be on my wish list, and I think within 5 years, I'm going to put it on my vision board, and then that's what I'll be doing.
Let's call her in. Call her in. Come on down, Solange.
I believe in you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll work my network. Exactly. If people want to come and find you, get mentoring, have chats, hire you, where should they go?
But send me food.
Send you food.
They can go to either my Instagram, which is at Simone Daley Richards, Daley, D-A-L-E-Y, Richards, or you can see me at my website at www.simonedailyrichards.com. That you can get everything there, I guess.
Or see me on the telly or at a festival near you.
You can invite me to your house. You know, at the moment I'm not working at the moment, so come and sing some songs in your living room or
yes.
Or wedding parties. I'd love to come and do more of that stuff. So do send me a message and I will respond.
I'll respond through a singing voice note. I will share my rates by doing 9 octaves for you. Simone, I adore you. You know this. Thank you for being so brilliant and sharing your wisdom.
I was very scared because I'd never done a podcast before. My first podcast, and I'm really, really happy you helped me get through this.
We got to get through this.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for having me. Honestly, it's been a really good afternoon. You made my whole day.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability, or just to have a chat with me, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.